this new Helldivers game. Kyle's obsessed with it. Have you played it all, Hutch?
I played it just one time with Bruce and Nanners and Gassy, and I had a good time with it. I've been spending
Bruce
more time.
X-Cal?
No, well, he's Bruce, but I'm talking about Bruce Green. He's he did
we know
Bruce. Yeah. Has he been on the show?
Yeah,
he's awesome. Bruce is a good guy.
A couple times.
But no, yeah, just I think I've only played for like 3.5 hours. But you guys are, Kyle, you're super into it?
I've been playing. I started late because I was still obsessed with Tarkov, but I've been playing for maybe a week now, and I really like it. I like the Starship Trooper references or influence or whatever you want to call it. I saw that Casper Van Dien, the main actor from Starship Troopers, is interacting with the CEO on Twitter, going back and forth, and the CEO is like, maybe we need to add some roughnecks to the game. What do you guys think? And Casper Van Dien's like, I work for money. Let's do it.
They should for sure put him in a commercial. That's like such an easy layup.
That's what they're asking for. Him and who's the gay one who was he had
Doogie Howser. What? I don't
Doogie Howser. That actor.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah. They want. Yeah, he would be good too. They were great in that movie. So I like that a lot. That brings me into it right away. And one of the enemy types is just copy pasted from those movies. The arachnids from that movie are the terminids from this game. They even do this thing when they see you where they're like, "Rah!" They like open their mouths and just kind of scream at you and sort of flutter some like frills. And it's like, that's from the fucking movie. And so like I enjoy that part.
Is Helldivers the game where there's flying insects, but the company's denying the existence of flying insects?
Yeah.
I saw that.
The CEO is sort of acting as the minister of propaganda, and he's like, any reports you may have heard of flying enemies, complete dissident nonsense. Okay, report anyone telling you that sort of thing to your local liberty police right away. They'll be sent to a freedom camp.
Dude, that's such like a fun way to handle a game. Like, I love that. That's so playing into the flavor, building the lore, having fun. More games.
It's interesting because there is no campaign per se. There's no storyline. There's no single player missions. It's just the co-op sort of Halo ODST drop in 4-man squads. Or you can play solo if you want, but 4-man squads and smash and kill and do objectives and then get the fuck out, extract.
And reportedly, there were Halo devs that pitched a very similar game, and Bungie turned it down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Can you explain the thing that you did on PKN about how expendable you are in the tutorial? Because I loved it so fucking much every time. For Jackie.
Like I don't like it's got a great tutorial. You start and they teach you like, this is how you shoot. And you go and everything just dies in front of you, these paper fucking targets or whatever. And it's like, this is how you jump. I was like, all right. This is how you crawl. Like, all right, got it. All right, this is gonna be and then congratulations, soldier, you graduated. And confetti goes off and you stand there, you get your cape. They put a cape on you, and I'm like, all I know how to do is shoot and run and crawl, and that's all you need, soldier. Here's your very own Star Destroyer. It's yours. Fly it wherever you'd like.
It tells you to go to a kiosk, and there's just a pool of blood next to the kiosk. You're just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
So are you supposed to just be like a conscript who was pulled in to fight?
You have no value, basically. So they train you for 45 seconds, and they send you off, and you die.
You're incredibly expendable.
It's my kind of campaign for a shooter.
You're just constantly dying. You don't need to live to complete the missions. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. Like, we would complete a mission, and then we'd fail to extract, and it'd be like, mission accomplished. Like, they don't care that you're dead.
Because they don't care about that. That's funny. I like the flavor of that.
What's different, though, is they've got that, like, sort of dungeon master guy who's running the overall galactic war and deciding what's happening, and keeping with the satire and of the whole thing. They're like, all right, there are these 4 planets. This is like a mission they gave the whole big update. They're like, there's 4 planets right on the border of us and the bug systems. We need you to go to these planets and release termicide. We're gonna gas the whole planet, and so everybody's working to gas those planets. And it's already been leaked, like, little spoiler if you care about that game's storyline. But what's going to happen is the terminicide's going to just mutate them and make them worse, of course. So it's always little stuff like
make
that.
It harder.
I think that's on the right side of the galaxy. And if you're on the left side of the galaxy, you fight the Terminators, which I don't really enjoy fighting too much because they're mean.
Dude, they're rough. Those guys are tough.
So those aren't insects. They have guns.
They're harder.
Terminators. So there's like the standard Terminator, like just metal endoskeleton with a laser rifle, but then there'll be like giant men with 2 chainsaw arms chasing you and big armored things, and like AT-ATs, or the walkers rather, from Star Wars. They just rip those right off. That thing's crawling at you. And then they'll just drop a giant tank in sometimes, like a literal tank that like nothing hurts it unless you shoot it in this little square in the back. Right. That's how all the enemies are. They've got this tiny little weak point that you've got to target. So yeah, that game's been fun. And I was saying earlier, like if anybody's got it, like buy yourself a Stream Deck, because you can put all your stratagems on this little fucking keypad and be a real star commander. And you just, one button.
Are those all the stratagems, or are those just like your 15 favorite or 20 favorite?
Those, which button to hit.
What do you mean?
Color, the picture.
There's like 20 buttons on there.
Yeah. That one shows like 2 bombs on a plane, or rockets, or
those icons mean something to you.
It's calling in like
because I play the game.
It's
I thought they were like default that came with.
Oh no! Oh, so okay, with Stream Deck, I can make these anything. Like I could make this one YouTube, and it would be the YouTube icon. Like I downloaded this whole pack that's all the things, and in my software over there, I can just drag and drop different ones. They automatically update with the correct codes on them, and it's seamless. It's super easy.
It's like the kill streak icons in COD. So like you just get used to whatever.
You start to know them.
How many stratagems
I think we're in a golden age of gaming right now. Like there's a lot of like crap live service stuff, but I don't understand the people that try to make the case that, games in 2009 were way better. Like I just don't agree with that at all. There's so many options now.
2009 was a big year though, because you sort of had this bloom of games.
That was Modern Warfare
that all
2,
happened. Right? And Halo 3 and like a number of the greats that we think of. Maybe Borderlands back then too. There's probably
like 2009 is when
stuff.
Online gaming was really born. Somewhere around there. That's when like Left 4 Dead was popular, COD 4 was popular.
Yeah.
Well, console online gaming. That's when it because PC had been doing online stuff for a while, but when it really broke into the mainstream was 2009 was like definitely the birth, I would say.
Yeah. I should have mentioned something about mainstream, but that's when. Shucks, headsets and microphones were just sort of hitting the deck in the console world.
For the consoles.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you. I think right now, some of the best games I've ever played have been the last couple years. Baldur's Gate 3 was such a like home run. Like I've never played an RPG. I always thought of the Elder Scrolls games as like the pinnacle of RPGs, but this blows that shit out of the water. It really does. It's
a genre-defining game.
It took the best from multiple games, and then it wrote its own shit. Like I like that you can get fucked by a bear in that game. It's hilarious.
You're talking about Helldivers right now?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, okay.
And just how we are, I think, in like a real golden age of gaming. I think some of the games. I don't like Elden Ring, but it's clearly a masterpiece. I don't like those. Didn't a Zelda game or something like that come out that was like crazy good?
Yeah,
I never got into this.
It's tough because on Switch. Like you can download an emulator and play it in 4K 60 frames, but on Switch they really stretched the tech as far as they could go for that handheld. It's a really cool game, but I'm such a snob. It's just really hard for me to play a game that dips down to 15 frames, and I just can't do it. I just really can't do it. But it's really cool the stuff that they did with. They really like did stuff that no other. You build. It's hard to explain, but like you can put gadgets together. You can build like tanks. You can build flying devices to get places. And the way that you build them is really unique. I've just never seen another game do that. I'm curious about Elden Ring though. How much time did you actually give that game before you gave up on it?
25 minutes. I got just butt fucked by the knight in the beginning, and I was like, this is too much for me. Like
I probably did about 10 hours. And then also
you gave it a old college try.
Yeah.
I did some research too on just watching people play and listening to people talk about the issues that I had with it, which I don't remember quite well. I know I had some issues with the difficulty, but that's just those games. That's just Dark Souls like games. And if you're not into that, you're not into that. And I don't think I am.
I tried to cheese that first boss the way you could cheese the giant in Skyrim, and it did not play.
There was something about the NPCs and how the NPCs worked that I didn't care for. I do like that traditional.
Did you like it, Hutch?
I loved Elden Ring, but it took a minute because the game is the like some of the systems come across as like really rudimentary, and so that's a game that does not hold your hand at all. So you open the doors and you see Limgrave, And the game centers the sort of like cinematography on your ultimate goal, which is this giant Erd tree, but it doesn't tell you like where to go. It doesn't tell you any of that. There's no quest tracker or anything. And this is culturally a big part of From Software games. It's just part of the deal is like you just got to figure it out. And for me, I'm used to like dummy Ubisoft games, which tells you exactly like what to do and exactly what order, and it gives you these giant quest markers. And so initially that was frustrating, but me playing it on a 32:9 screen, like I have this super ultra wide screen, and visually the game is just so impressive and immersive that it makes you want to like discover more things in the world. And so I had never played like Dark Souls before playing the game. So like it was rough for the first 20 hours playing
20 hours.
Dude, it was rough.
Dude,
But
the
then,
skill
You get it,
required
yeah.
is what scared me off of that game. So I'm currently bad at games. I'm not gaming a lot, a little Mortal Kombat with my son, but that's it. And I'm currently bad. Taylor plays games. Kyle's good at games, and both of them said it's too hard. We have like Patreon hangouts and stuff with our fans, and some of them are great at games. You know, those top 0.1% in Call of Duty, for example, like they're great at games, Rust, and they said it was too hard. And it's like, God darn, if they think it's too hard, what hope do I have?
Scum is loving it. Scum's playing it right now. He just now got into it, like coincidentally, they were talking about it, and he's been like, "Come on, Kyle, download this game." And I'm like, dude, I downloaded it when it fucking came out. I bought it like an hour after it was possible. I pre-ordered that shit. I don't like it. It's not for me. I'll tell you what else I did. Like in my 10 hours or whatever of playing it, like I never had any fun. Like when I when I would win fights, I didn't care. Like the and that's a problem sometimes when people try to get me into games. I'm like, yeah, but guys, like okay, we'll get all the credits, we'll get all the gold, and then what will we do? Oh, we'll buy a grenade launcher for our guns. Okay, well, that completely changed what this game is about. Well, no, you'll just be able to kill the crabs more faster. I don't like killing the crabs, guys. Oh. Well, you don't like the game then.
Yeah.
This is Crab Killer.
And the upgrade system that they have is like really, it's kind of complicated. Like you have to get a specific kind of stone to upgrade specific weapons, and then you need another one, and you can only get these stones in like caves that are
I'm okay with that.
Map. You know, but like it's just a lot. It's just there's a lot to
What was
learn.
the other game? What was the other game that was like a remake of an older game that we just played a shit ton of? Like last year. It's like the third or fourth sequel of something.
Was it that top-down one that I saw?
Yeah, It's the
Total
top-down
War?
No,
Warhammer 3?
No, it's the one where you've got one character and you're running around and you're
Vermintide?
I'll Google games that came out last year.
That's going to take so long, man.
Did you guys play? Did you guys play, for example, Jedi Survivor or the first one, Fallen Order?
No, I've
never played a Star Wars game.
No, I played Battlefront back in the day. That was so much fun.
Battlefront's dope, but Jedi Survivor is a very different kind of game. It's like they call it Souls-like now. It's like Dark Souls game inspired a whole genre where it's basically really difficult, and when you die, you drop, your points or whatever you want to call them, and you have to go back to that spot to get your points. And if you die a second time, you don't get them. But it's just a different kind of gaming experience. So you have to enjoy the satisfaction of dying like 30 times. And then when you finally beat that boss and that dopamine rush that you get, that's the thing that makes you want to keep going.
Yeah, I totally get that with games. Like I've played nothing in the past year other than Age of Empires 2, the definitive edition one, and it's so
like a real-time strategy,
real-time top-down strategy. So you like play as the Mayans or Persians or fucking Incas or something, and it's war and economy, and it's so satisfying to go online and beat someone in that, because it's like chess, where it's like, oh, I scouted, I predicted what they were doing, and despite them trying their best to fuck up my eco and everything, I defended, I got over them, I won. And then conversely, it's that other side where like you're just watching as your own base gets wrecked by someone way better than you, and you're like, oh, I'm having no fun, but I'm really motivated to figure out exactly what I did wrong and how this guy got over on me. It's so fun.
You have to want to know how to win the fight. Like, and if you just don't care, you're gonna put it down after 30 minutes or an hour. It's just
It was Diablo 4 I was thinking of. Taylor, here's my question though about a game like that. Yeah, Diablo 4 was fun. It was very flawed.
It got way too easy at the end, and then I think that's why we both lost interest.
I don't like
it was
I
just
hit that 80-hour mark. Once I had a moment when I was playing the game at 80 hours in where I was like, why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
I didn't have a good answer. And so I was like, I think I'm good. I got 80 hours. No, I got like my value. So.
All right. I got to the point that I can hold down X and my production of corpses is far out, exceeding the amount you need. I was a necromancer, and it was like
all these corpses are floating. It's just like the easiest thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah. I would see like all my friends in my party, like they're microing and doing their skills. And it's like, you guys are crazy. Just hold X. Like just hold X and it blows up. Every corpse you blow up makes 3 somehow. It's like someone wasn't doing the math in the late game here.
It did play really well with a controller, which was nice. Like if I give me the option between a controller and a mouse and keyboard, I'm gonna pick a controller most of the time, unless it's like a competitive shooter like COD now.
Yeah.
Taylor, have you invested in WASD yet and like gotten good at
in AoE? Yeah, Age of Empires 2 is one of the most hotkey intensive games out there, and so I'm pretty good on that. I would say I'm probably not that good at it in shooters because I prefer RTS as a genre. Like the only reason I like AoE 2 so much is because I like that medieval flavor, the bows and arrows, the swords, the siege towers and trebuchets. If I was like a space sci-fi guy, I would be playing StarCraft.
Did you guys play Baldur's Gate with a controller, or did you use a mouse and keyboard?
I didn't play much of Baldur's Gate.
I used mouse and keyboard. I use mouse and keyboard for everything, even when people are like, no, you gotta use controller, trust me. No, fuck you. Although I went back and forth on Elden Ring because they were like, Kyle, you've been using mouse and keyboard, you're crazy. That's why it's so hard. And so then I played like a shit ton more with a controller and hated it so much.
Diablo was like made for controller. Like I played the whole first half of my Diablo experience on mouse and keyboard, and then my buddy, who's a way better PC gamer than me, was like, why are you not using a controller? This is so honed for controller. Switched to a controller, it was immediately easier. Way better. So sometimes
I ended up picking up Baldur's Gate because you, Kyle, were pushing it so hard the last time I was on. And so I was all right, fuck it. I literally downloaded it that night and I put, I think like 70 or 80 hours into that game. I had never played Dungeons and Dragons before. Never had any interest in it. And so the first 10 hours, I'm like getting used to stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep playing. But then something happened and I turned a corner and I was like, dude, everything you do.
You got to like level 3 or 5, like somewhere in there, and suddenly you get like a little. It's one of those things where you get like your third weapon or your third perk or something. It's like, oh, it's clicking now.
Yeah.
Now it's
everything
wonderful.
felt so consequential. Like every decision I made, like you could tell, I'm like, oh, this would have been drastically different had I gone in that direction. And dude, that game was like a genre-defining game. Like it was easily my favorite game of last year.
Unless they're the greatest dev of all time and they make like a Baldur's Gate 4, like in 2 years, I bet that's going to be a classic game a decade from now.
Oh, for sure.
It'll be the remastered version. People will be playing that shit on their refrigerators.
The like hour that we played together, Kyle, and you were walking me through a bit of it, and we met that one kind of smug elf guy or whatever early on. I was like, let's kill this guy. I don't care for him one bit. He's being rude to me and my compatriots. And so we killed him.
And then afterward,
you killed him. And afterward, Kyle's like, so Taylor, this guy is wildly important to what you need to be doing. And I'm like, oh, so we probably shouldn't have done that. And you're like, no, we really shouldn't have done that.
I killed
he was the village leader.
And now they're going to be mad.
Who's the bear guy's name? Is it Halcyon? Is that his name?
It's not Halcyon. It's something like that.
Halcyon, yeah. I killed him. I killed him. I had no idea that was like an important druid. And I told my chat, I was telling my chat the next day, I was like, yeah, I killed a bear yesterday. And they were like, wait, what? Where did you kill the bear? I was like, I was in some prison. They were like, you fucking idiot. Like this guy's like really important for Act 2 and 3 and like my fiance's playing it. And so I get to see a little bit about like how it played out. I'm like, fuck, I should not have killed that guy.
And in my first playthrough, I didn't realize that I needed Halcyon, and so like I completed the second act successfully, and the whole second act is like this land is poisoned by a curse. Halcyon is the guy who removes the curse.
Yeah,
I left without removing
like
the
a little
curse.
Pixie. You can free like a little pixie, and then she'll like give you light or whatever. But
yeah.
It sounds like all of us moved on from first person shoot. I mean, Woody, you said you're not playing games anymore?
Just a little. I'm playing with my son. We play Mortal Kombat. Dude, I talked about it on PKN a little bit. Colin has the good controller, and I have just a stock normal Xbox controller. We're playing Mortal Kombat on Xbox. Cool. And I'm whooping him. I'm not that good at this. Is not a Clash of the Titans. He's bad, and I was slightly better. And but I can throw the fireballs on command and stuff and do the fancy kicks a little bit. And I'm beating him because he doesn't block. He never heckin' blocks. He just doesn't do it. And sometimes if he gets ahead, I just punish him by getting close and hitting him with like light punches. And he can't walk away. He can't do anything unless you block. I will pixel by pixel take your health bar down to 0. And he's like, stop kicking me. I'm like, you didn't stop kicking me, like learn to block, kid. Anyway, it turns out the scuff controller he had, block his right trigger, it didn't go down all the way. And that's why he evolved this no blocking style. No. Well, I figured that out and it wasn't really fair. And I got him a regular controller and he is fucking me up now. I haven't won since. Like I've won when you play 2 out of 3. I've had a single win.
He's going, Dad, block. 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 Oh, you can't block that, can you?
It's the equivalent of, Dad, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? And he's just fucking me up now. I can't win. I'm bringing out my A game, and he's got an A+ game.
Dude, you've turned Colin into like a version of that Croatian discus thrower in like 1907 who practiced with like a lead discus and then got to the Olympics and was like, oh, I'm gonna dominate. I can't believe this is what they're letting me throw.
Y'all don't throw
if
lead
I'm trying
discuses?
to win, Kyle. Raiden and Omni-Man are the characters I seem to do well with.
Oh, okay. I forgot Omni-Man was in there.
Yeah, he's new.
I would have to go with one of my like fan favorites. I might do Rambo or something like that, or RoboCop. Probably more.
I think they're in the previous Mortal Kombat, and not the current one.
I've never given that whole game genre like a fair shake. Just never.
There's no need. Like that's just getting into. Like we're talking about basketball over here, and that's baseball. That's a whole different fucking kind of game.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if you got a projector screen and you're sitting on the couch with a buddy, fighting games are about as good as it gets.
If you both suck, but like
I could program the Stream Deck with the combos,
or if you're both good. If it's a fair fight, Hutch makes a good point. Like
you both suck, but there's like the skill gap is wild with fighting games. They're doing like frame specific block timings and stuff, and I've always been really impressed with the fighting game people, like the old school Street Fighter like fights with what's his name. Like there was one they were playing Street Fighter 3. I can't remember his name. But there was a thing in Street Fighter 3 where you could do like a flurry of attacks, and he was parrying every single attack. And every time he parried the attack, the crowd that was watching him gets louder and louder and louder. It's like a really classic clip for fighting games. What is his name? Daigo is his name. But
I think I've seen that clip. Yeah.
You got to be your reaction time just has to be so. Yeah.
Not if your opponent's not that good. Not if your opponent's not very good.
If you both suck, it's fun. Yeah.
Dude, playing AoE 2 online has made me realize how much you need RTS skill-based matchmaking. They have it. And
I turned you into a believer. Nice.
you try and play an RTS against someone who's even like 10% better than you at it, and it's like, oh, I'm just being played with. This
I just have to say,
walling in my gold.